Hello, friends, and welcome to Time. Today, we will be discussing prepositions, and the handout that you should have with you is SCHO 3532007. I repeat, the handout number should be SCHO 3532007. So, prepositions is a continuance of our part of speech series, and as we'd like to call them, grammar classes. And we begin with the fundamental question, what is a preposition, right? Preposition kya hai? So preposition is a word placed before a noun or a pronoun. We understand what nouns and pronouns are, right? In the earlier discussions, we have discussed that noun is a naming word, whereas pronoun is a replacement or substitute of a noun. So preposition is a word that is placed before a noun or pronoun to show in what relation the person or thing denoted by it. Person or thing as in the person or thing denoted by the noun or pronoun. So in what relation the person or thing denoted by the noun or pronoun stands in regard to something else. So preposition will be a word which will be usually placed before a noun or pronoun to show the relation of that noun or pronoun with something else. You can remember it very easily because the word preposition means that which is placed before. Preposition, right? Pre means before and positioning obviously placement. So that which is placed before becomes a preposition. Let's understand with the help of a few examples. So there is a cow in the field. He is fond of tea and the cat jumped off the chair. So in the first we have cow, right, and field, these are the two nouns. In the second we have fond and tea, a noun, and again another word which we can call an adjective. And the cat is a noun, jumped is a verb, and chair again is a noun. So in the first sentence, the word in shows the relationship between two things. Which two things? The cow and the field. The placement of the cow in relation to the field. The word which shows that is in, so in becomes a preposition. In sentence 2, the word of shows the relation between attribute expressed by the adjective fond and tea. So fond is an adjective and the attribute of that is T. So the relationship between these two words will then be showed by of. And the cat jumped off, O-double-F, off the chair. So in sentence 3, the word off shows the relation between the action, between the verb jumped and the chair. So the jumping of the chair. So again, noun or pronouns are something which shows a relationship between these two things. So noun or pronoun in relation to something else. It can be placement, it can be adjective, it can be anything else, right? So please consider that in statement 1 or sentence 1, preposition joins noun to another noun. So if I go back, in the first statement you will see cow is joined to field. Both of them are nouns, right? In the second sentence, the preposition joins a noun to an adjective. So here we see that fond is an adjective and tea is a noun. And in the third sentence, preposition joins a noun to a verb. So, in the third sentence, jumped is a verb, chair is a noun. So, in all the three sentences, the preposition is actually joining two different things. In the first, noun to noun, second, noun to adjective, and third, noun to a verb. The noun or pronoun which is used with a preposition is called its object. It is in the accusative case. As we know from previous discussion, accusative case का मतलब होता है something which is in the objective case, right? And is said to be governed by the preposition. Okay, so हर preposition का एक object होता है and usually the object is in the objective case. Easy to remember, object, objective case, and is said to be governed by the preposition. So in sentence 1, the noun field is in the accusative case and is governed by in. So if you remember the first sentence, we have both cow and field, both of them are nouns. Field is in the objective case and that's why it is governed by the preposition in. The cow is in the field. Okay. A preposition can sometimes have more than one object. So it can have more than two objects also. So let's understand that with the help of an example. The road runs over hill and plain. So over here is the preposition, but hill के लिए भी overuse हो रहा है and plain के लिए भी overuse हो रहा है. So the road runs over both hill and plain. So both hill and plain are the objects of the preposition over. तो जरूरी नहीं है एक preposition के साथ एक ही object आएगा, एक preposition के साथ एक से ज्यादा या दो से ज्यादा objects भी आ सकते हैं. Okay. So now we're going into categories or types of prepositions, and the first is very easy. The previous examples that we have seen are all single word prepositions. So some examples are at, by, for, from, to, up, with, of, on, out, right? Now these will usually tell you something. So it'll either tell you the placement, like we have up, out. It'll tell you agency, kiske dwara, I suffer from, he is coming from, right? Or purpose of something, this is for, right? So usually these are the cases or the uses in which prepositions are used. They will show the relation, but they'll also perform a function, either by telling the placement or by telling the relation between two things, or they'll tell you the the either placement, relation, or they'll tell you the agency through which something is being conducted. So single word prepositions are very easy to spot. Some of them are there on the screen. The next is compound preposition. So as the word compound suggests, compound means to put together, something which has been put together, साथ में लाया गया है, right? So here they are generally formed by prefixing. Prefix is something that is attached in the front of the word. That's why again you have the word pre. Pre means before, pehle. So generally formed by prefixing a preposition, usually a means no, right? हिंदी में भी जब हम किसी word के आगे a डाल देते हैं तो उसका मतलब opposite हो जाता है, right? Okay, so usually a which means no or b which means by to a noun, an adjective or an adverb. So here let's take a few examples. About, above, across, along, amidst, among, amongst, around, etc. So between, all of these words are actually compounded, and other words like underneath, outside, within, without, these are two different words which have been combined into one word. So all of them are usually placements of the preposition which shows the relation between two things, right? And that's why, because they have been formed by adding things, adding words, that's why they are called compound prepositions. The next category that we're doing is phrase preposition. So as the word suggests, it probably has a phrase or a group of words, and group of words which are used with the force of a single preposition. तो यहाँ पे words ज़्यादा हैं, लेकिन उन्हें हम treat करेंगे like a single preposition. We will treat them as if they are a singular unit. Okay, so some examples are according to, in accordance with, in place of. So according to is very common, right? बहुत commonly use होता है. According to ABC, the number of corona cases have declined, or in accordance with the constitutional law in India, the fugitives have been taken to XYZ site. In place of this, let's take that. So here, these words you will notice come exactly as they are. इनके बीच में कोई दूसरा या तीसरा word नहीं आता, and they are used as it is. These are called phrase prepositions or phrasal prepositions sometimes. So these have the force of a single preposition. Basically, ये दो चीजों को जोड़ेंगे. They will come in the middle of, or they will try to connect two things. So that is what our basic definition of a preposition is. So these are phrasal preposition, group of words with the force of a single preposition. Let's take some other examples. Agreeably to, in addition to, in reference to. So I like cricket in addition to football, or in reference to, with reference of, sometimes that's also used. With the reference of XYZ material, I have decided that. Okay. Along with, in, ya, on behalf of, in regard to. Along with again is very common. I went along with my parents to a trip, right? In behalf of, yeah, on behalf of him, I'm taking or accepting this award. In regard to, again, very common. Away from, in case of, in spite of. In spite of means iske bawajood. In spite of the rain, people went to listen to the politician's speech. In case of a fever, please see the doctor. I got away from there with a lot of difficulty. So again, these are words that you will hear very commonly, but these are actually phrasal prepositions or phrase prepositions because of, in comparison to, instead of, right? Another category that we can do is that there are many words which can be. Another thing that we need to remember is that there are many words which can be used as prepositions or as adverbs. As we know from our previous discussion, adverbs are words which will tell you about the verb or an adjective, right? So prepositions or as adverbs, the most important of these are about, above, across, before, below, behind, besides, in, near, through, under, up, etc. So these are words which can be used both as prepositions and also as adverbs. So they can perform both the functions as it is. It just depends on the placement of these words and how they are used and what they are actually referring to. So let's take a quick example from this table. So on the left hand side you have prepositions, on the right you have adverbs. Both the preposition and the adverb is the same word but different parts of speech depending on how they are used. The first sentence is he was here before 10. So he was here before 10. Now you are connecting two things. He has done this before. Now this is about him doing it. So it becomes an adverb of time, as we remember from our previous discussion. He was behind us. So his position in comparison to us. So two things being compared, two things being linked. So behind then becomes a, again, preposition. She is a long way behind. She is behind, as in she's existing or she is being behind. So again, behind here becomes an adverb. The shop is just round the corner. So the placement of the shop in comparison to, yeah, in relation to the corner is said by the word round. Whereas if I say, come round and meet my cousin this evening, I'm telling you to come. I'm telling you to आओ मिल लेना, right? So again, the same word can be used as a preposition and the same word can be used as an adverb. Depends on which word it is qualifying. If you pay attention to the right hand side of the column, all of the words that are underlined are actually trying to talk about verbs or they are qualifying verbs. Whereas on the left hand side, the words are trying to connect two things, right? So that's why some words can be both prepositions and adverbs, and the way that they are used, the words that they qualify or connect, will make them either preposition or adverb. I hope this is understood. आगे चलते हैं. Phrasal verbs. Now, what are phrasal verbs and why are we studying it in preposition? Why didn't we cover this topic in verbs? Because this is a unique set in which a verb, when combined with a preposition, changes the meaning of them, right? So certain verbs, when followed by certain prepositions or adverbs, we've added adverbs here. Why? क्योंकि हमने पहले देख लिया that कुछ words prepositions भी हो सकते हैं और adverbs भी हो सकते हैं. That's why we have added adverbs here. So certain verbs, when followed by certain prepositions or adverbs, acquire a new significance. एक नई meaning उनको मिलती है, एक नया तरीका मिलता है देखने का. So let's take a few examples. Backup. Now, if I say backup, तो आप गाड़ी backup कर रहे हैं. No, here what I'm trying to say that I support you. That I am your backup. I will back you up regardless of your decision. I will back you up through any phase in life. So am I trying to say that पीछे जाओ? No, I'm trying to say that I will support you. So back here is the verb, right? And up again becomes a preposition as we have seen. The combination of a verb and preposition have now changed the meaning of both of them. We're not talking about back, we're not talking about up, we're talking about support, we're talking about sustenance. And that's why when certain verbs are followed by certain prepositions or adverbs, they acquire a new significance or meaning. Let's take other examples. Bear with, right? To tolerate. I bear with his behavior at home, or I bear with my brother's continuous nagging. So I'm tolerating. With again is a preposition. Call for, right? The meeting called for immediate action. So is somebody calling someone? No, they are calling for, they are demanding immediate action. The protesters outside the government building called for equality. So they are demanding equality. Are they ringing someone on their phone? No. That's why when we follow certain verbs with certain prepositions, the meaning changes. And how will you understand किस तरीके से किस context में use हुआ? Exactly, context से, meaning से. अगर सेंटेंस है द protesters called for equality, you are pretty sure that they're not calling somebody and saying equality, though they are asking for, they're demanding. So the context, the meaning of the sentence will tell you that whether this is a phrasal verb or whether this is being used in its literal meaning. Okay, go by, to be guided by. I go by the rules of ABC. So go by, I'm guided by. Go about, to start working on something, to tackle. I go about my work with precision. So I do my work with precision. I tackle my work with precision. Hang on, depend on, right? So you're not literally hanging on something, you are depending on something. I hang on to my friends during this time of crisis, right? So hang on, depend on. Take after, to resemble. He takes after his mother. So is he literally following his mother? No, he looks like, he resembles, he takes after his mother. Look down upon, despise. So many elite look down upon the poor. So those who have money look down upon those who do not. So despise, a sense of hatred, a sense of disgust. Look up to, you respect. I look up to him as a leader. So are you literally always looking up like that? No, you are actually talking about respect, a feeling of admiration, right? Cut out for, fitted for. So I'm not cut out for these competitive exams. I'm not fit for these competitive exams. Or I am cut out for these competitive exams. I am fit for these competitive exams. So I'm not literally being cut, am I? No, I'm being told that, or I feel that this fits me, this suits me. So cut out for means fitted for or suits, right? So whenever certain verbs are followed by certain prepositions and adverbs, they will take on a new significance or a new type of meaning. And these set of words are then called phrasal verbs. So mostly it is a verb plus preposition slash adverb combination. All right. So some rules regarding use of prepositions. So rule number one, a preposition can be placed at the end of a sentence as well. So right now we have studied that, okay, a preposition is something which joins two things, usually a noun and pronoun in relation to something else. But अब हमें देखना है कि preposition sentence के end में भी आ सकता है. It doesn't always have to be in the middle. बीच में होने की जरूरत नहीं है. Let's take a few examples. When the relative pronoun is that, I'm sure all of us are aware of what relative pronouns are. We have had this discussion. So जब relative pronoun that use हो रहा है, then the sentence के end में preposition आएगा. Here is the pen that you were looking for. So for is a preposition, but it's coming at the end of the sentence. Of course, we know what it is joining. It is joining the pen and looking, right? So here is the pen that you were looking for. If a preposition governs a relative pronoun, so अगर कोई preposition relative pronoun को govern कर रहा है, guide कर रहा है, then that preposition will come at the end. Example, this is the student whom I spoke about. So whom again is a relative pronoun, we know that. So this is the student whom I spoke about. About is a preposition. Because it is governing whom, it will come at the end. This is the student whom I spoke about. If a preposition governs or guides an interrogative pronoun or adverb, so अगर interrogative pronoun या adverb की बात हो रही है and the preposition is governing that, then again it will come at the end. What are you looking at? So at is a preposition, it's coming at the end because it's guiding what. So what are you looking at? So sometimes the preposition can be placed at the end या last part of the sentence as well. Now, rule 2 says that a preposition can also be used in the beginning, usually for an interrogative sentence. तो अभी हमने पिछले rule में देखा था that whenever I'm talking about a preposition that's governing an interrogative pronoun or adverb, तो preposition end में आएगा. But sometimes if I want to make an interrogative sentence, if I want to make a question, then preposition can be used at the beginning also. So examples, in which city do you live? So in is at the beginning. Again, it's a preposition, it's beginning the sentence. Why? Because I need to form an interrogative sentence. I need to form a question. In which city do you live? To whom are you referring? To whom are you referring, right? So again, to is placed at the beginning of the sentence because I'm trying to make a question. I'm trying to ask a question. So I'm trying to make an interrogative sentence, and in that case, preposition को हम फॉरवर्ड भी रख सकते हैं. सो preposition को हम लास्ट में रख सकते हैं, preposition को हम फर्स्ट रख सकते हैं, एंड ऑब्वियसली preposition बीच में भी आ सकता है सेंटेंस के. ऑलराइट. रूल 3. There are some words with prepositions which require ing after them. ing as in suffix. Last part में ing आएगा. तो कुछ words हैं जो prepositions के साथ चलेंगे या यूज होंगे, तो वो ing फॉर्मेट में ही यूज होंगे. So let's take a few examples. Prevent from working. So I was prevented, or they should be prevented from working, या prevent from working. Prevent from work कभी नहीं आएगा. It will always be from working. So work will always take the ing suffix in this case, and the preposition here is from. Fond of playing. Fond of play नहीं आएगा, fond of playing आएगा, right? Insist on going. Insist on go. Insist on went. No, insist on going. ing. So some words with prepositions always require the ing after them, as in the ing suffix. Succeed in doing. He has succeeded in doing something, not in do something, right? So succeeded or succeed in doing. All right. Rule 4. Some intransitive verbs become transitive by placing prepositions after them. So I think we all understand what intransitive and transitive verbs are. Intransitive verbs do not require a receiver or object, whereas transitive verbs require a receiver or object. So some intransitive verbs become transitive. They start out as intransitive, but they will become transitive if you place prepositions after them. अगर intransitive verb के आगे मैं preposition लगा देती हूँ, then they will become transitive. Let's take a few examples. Laugh at. Now we know laugh में ed, ing बिल्कुल बन सकता है, right? So I am now adding a what? I'm adding a preposition, and that's why they become transitive. Ed, ing format कुछ भी हो, I don't need to add an object. I can just say he was laughing. Again, laughing does not require an object. But if I add at, if I say he was laughing at, then I will require an object, which makes laugh a transitive verb. So if I add a preposition after an intransitive verb, the intransitive verb is converted into transitive. Okay. Listen to. So listen to what? Listen to something. Again, object is needed. Depend on, depend upon. Again, the question is depend on what? Depend upon what? So you need an object. Prevail on or upon, similar. Prevail on what? An object is required. Rule 5. In and within. So now we're trying to discuss what in and within mean. Both of them, as you can see, are prepositions. One is a single word and the other is a compound preposition. But the meaning changes. In and within is not really the same thing. So in refers to the end of a period of time, usually in the future. So in the future something will happen, and it refers to a period of time or end of a period of time. Usually it is set in the future. So he will return in a month. When will he return? He will return in a month. A period of time in the future, again told by the word in. Within means before the end of the period of time. So whatever period of time I'm saying, it will happen, whatever is supposed to happen will happen before that. So he will return within a month. So वो एक महीने के बाद नहीं, एक महीने के अंदर आएंगे, right? So not after 30 days, before 30 days are over. Similarly, if you buy something online and it says that the product will arrive in 7 days. So when will the product arrive? It'll arrive after 7 days. Once the 7 days are over, then your product will arrive. But if the tag says that your product will arrive within 7 days, then your product can arrive tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 2 days from now, 3 days from now, but definitely in less than 7 days. So that's what in and within mean. In will mean that time has to pass before the stuff happens or you get the product, whereas within means that you will get the product or the thing will happen before the stipulated time. So that's the difference of usage between in and within. Okay. Rule 6, in and into. So again, now we're discussing in and into. One is single, one is compound. In indicates rest or motion inside anything. So let's understand this with an example. She is in the garden. So where is she? She is in the garden. I'm definitely sure of her placement वो garden में है. She is in the garden, inside the garden, right? Whereas into means motion towards the inside of anything. So if I say she walked into the garden, can I say with 100% certainty that wo garden mein hai? No. She is walking into the garden, or she walked into the garden. She might just be at the beginning part, she might be in, she might have crossed over, I don't know. Whereas in the first sentence, in the A example, we definitely know she is in the garden. But in the second one, she is walking towards, into the garden, right? So again, placement is slightly different with in and into. Rule 7, on and upon. On is used in speaking of things at rest. So he sat on a big stone. So he's sitting on a big stone, he's resting, he's not moving. So in speaking of things at rest, we will use the preposition on. Before the names of days and dates, so on Friday, on 26th January. So whenever I'm talking about days or dates, I will use on. To denote support and concern. So he wrote books on politics. So what was the topic of his concern? What was the thing that he supported, liked on politics, right? So politics was the thing he supported or was concerned about. So he wrote books on politics. Whereas upon is used in speaking of things in motion. Something which is traveling, something which is moving, there's some movement, तब हम upon use करेंगे. Example, the tiger sprang upon the goat. So obviously the tiger is jumping on the goat. There is an action which is being performed, something is moving. So here we will use upon instead of on, right? Okay. Rule 8, beside and besides. So beside means by the side of, next to, adjacent to, side में. Okay. So if I say my house is beside a lake, मेरा घर lake के side में है. It is next to, adjacent to, bordering a lake. But when I say besides, it means in addition to or moreover. So if I add an S, the meaning changes. So besides English, we were taught French. So apart from English, in addition to English, we also studied French. We studied English, moreover, we studied French. So whenever I'm using besides with the S, it means in addition to or moreover. But if I'm using beside then it means next to, adjacent to, right? Okay. Rule 9, by can have different meanings. By is again a preposition, but it can have different meanings depending on how it is used. So according to, from the evidence of, so by my watch it is 10:30. So according to this watch, according to me, it is 10:30 a.m. It can also denote the doer of an action in the passive voice. We again know what active and passive voice are. We have had a brief discussion on this in the verbs discussion, right? So to denote the doer, karta, whoever is doing the action, in the passive voice. So the thief was beaten by the watchman. I can say the watchman beat the thief. This is active. Now I convert it to passive. The thief was beaten by the watchman. So again, to denote the doer of an action, by can be used. Obviously, it will be used in the passive format. So by can have different meanings depending on how it is used. Rule 10. Prepositions from, since, for are used with reference to time. So when we are using the prepositions from, since, and for, then these are used in reference to time. We're talking about time. So from and since indicate a point of time. किसी time से start हुआ है, right? Indicate a point of time. So I have not seen her since Monday. So Monday से मैंने उसे नहीं देखा है. So I'm setting a point of time. I'm making sure that this is the point of time I'm talking about. And now after this point of time, this has happened. So since 1991, India's economy has opened. Since the last 10 years, the stock market has seen a lot of ups and downs. So I'm now setting a piece of time, a point of time, and to indicate that we usually use from or since. So I have not seen her from August. August से लेके अभी तक. I have not seen her. I have not seen her from August. So again, I'm setting a very particular specific piece of time. For indicates a length or period of time. So here I'm indicating a length or period of time. Example, I have not seen her for 6 months, right? I have not seen her for, so the whole of the 6 months I have not seen her. Whereas in the previous, when we talk from and since, I've set a point of time and I'm talking from that point onwards. But here I'm talking about the whole length, the whole time period. And that's why here we use for. I have not seen her for 6 months. So this is how we use the prepositions of time from, since, and for. Depending on how they are used, they will convey different meanings. From and since will convey a point in time, whereas for will convey an entire period or length of time. Alright, so now let's begin with a few questions. I hope all of you have the handout. Please understand that we won't be covering all the questions of the handout, but we'll be going over some major ones. So we might skip a few in the middle, okay? So let's start with the first question. Question number 1. Mrs. Rama asked Mrs. Sita how she was going to manage her problem. Mrs. Rama asked Mrs. Sita that how she was going to manage her problem. Now the problem here, the error here is that we don't use that before how. That usage is incorrect. That's a common error in indirect speech. So in indirect speech, the common error is we put that before how, and that's not needed. So the correction is that that should not be used before who, what, which, in that case, in this case how, and that's why the correction will be Mrs. Rama asked Mrs. Sita how she was going to manage her problem. So what we are going to do is we are going to simply remove that from the statement. So it will be Mrs. Rama asked Mrs. Sita how she was going to manage her problem. That is not needed, and hence we will just omit this. Okay. Moving to question 2. Unless the enemy does not abandon the ship, we will not attack it. So the error here is that unless means if not. Unless already has a not in it. Unless matlab agar ye nahi hua to, unless. So it already has a not here. So we do not need not again, because what happens is that if हम not फिर से use करेंगे, then it will cancel the not already present inside unless, and the meaning will then become positive. So this is the concept of double negatives. अगर आप double negative use करते हैं तो meaning positive हो जाती है. दोनों negative एक दूसरे को nullify कर देते हैं, right? So if I say not incorrect, what I'm trying to say is correct. But I'm using two negatives to say the same thing. So here if I use not also and unless also, the meaning is nullified, and that's why we will simply remove not from the sentence. And if you pay attention, not is actually here two times, so we'll remove it from both the places. So the correction will become unless the enemy abandons the ship, we will attack it. Now here, because I'm removing not, I'll also have to remove does, right, from the first part of the sentence. And because enemy is a collective noun, I'm considering it a collective. That's why I will use the singular format of the verb. So it will become abandons, right? So as we've already studied, when a verb takes the S format, then it's a singular, and when it does not take the S format, it's plural. So the correction will be unless the enemy abandons the ship, we will attack it. Okay. Moving to question 5. Throughout his life, Mr. Mori never lost courage nor confidence. Throughout his life, Mr. Mori never lost courage nor confidence. So the problem or the error here is that never is followed by or and not nor. So never के बाद हम और इस्तेमाल करते हैं, neither के बाद हम nor इस्तेमाल करते हैं. So never should be followed by or, and that's precisely the error. So the correction will be throughout his life, Mr. Mori never lost courage or confidence. So we will just change nor to or. So Mr. Mori never lost courage or confidence. Okay. Moving to question 11. She introduced me to both her parents as well as her husband. So she introduced me to both her parents, one entity, husband, second entity. Now the error is that both forms a conjunction. Conjunction is anything which joins two different sentences or two different words, right? So both forms a conjunction with and. So both and and. And that's why the correct usage of this pair is both and not both as well as. So it should be both dash and, it should not be both dash as well as. That's why it's simply we will replace as well as with and. So it will become she introduced me both to her parents and her husband. For more understanding of this, when we discuss conjunctions, you will understand that both always takes and, it never takes as well as. So once we do conjunctions, please do come back to this part of our discussion on prepositions to understand why we have replaced as well as with and. For now, just know that because both is joining or is referring to both parents and the husband, we don't need to use as well as. So we will just say both her parents and her husband. All right. Question 15. Other students as well as Raju was present there. So other students as well as Raju was present there. Now the error is that जब हम as well as use करते हैं, the verb should agree with the subject before it. It मतलब as well as. तो जो भी subject as well as के पहले आएगा, उसी को follow करेगा verb. तो यहाँ पे as well as के पहले आया है students. Students is plural and that is why was will be replaced with were. So the other students as well as Raju were present there. अगर Raju students के पहले आता, Raju as well as other students, then was would have been correct. But since students comes before as well as, the verb has to be changed from the singular to the plural, and that's why the statement will become other students as well as Raju were present there. All right, moving to question 16. He has faced a number of problems since he has left home. He has faced a number of problems since he has left home. Now, this has more to do with verbs. So, since when used as a conjunction, again, something which joins two things, two parts of the sentences, two words, should be preceded by a verb in the present perfect tense. So, that has been done here, has faced, okay, present perfect tense, and should be followed by a verb in the simple past tense. So the present perfect has been followed here, has faced, that's fine. But then after since it should be simple past tense. And that's why the correct sentence will be he has faced a number of problems since he left home. We don't need to use has here. We just need to use simple past. So simple past is left, right? And that's where we will leave it at. So basically we are just going to omit has from here. So he has faced a number of problems since he left home. Okay. Moving to question 20. Sunita is either stupid or pretends that she is. या तो वो stupid है या वो pretend करती है कि वो stupid है, right? So Sunita is either stupid or pretends that she is. Either or should introduce parallel units. तो जब भी हम either or in that case neither nor की बात करते हैं, they should introduce equal units or units which are functioning equally, या units of equal function, right? That's why we will change the sentence to either Sunita is stupid or she pretends that she is, right? So we'll keep it equal. Either Sunita is stupid or she pretends that she is. So Sunita is used here and the pronoun she is used here. So it is distributed equally. And whenever we're talking about either or neither nor, they should introduce parallel or equal units. That's why the correction will become either Sunita is stupid or she pretends that she is. All right. So let's move to question 21. I admire both the paintings of M.F. Hussain and of Padamsee. So I admire both the paintings of M.F. Hussain and of Padamsee. So the error is that both and should also introduce parallel units. So जैसे हमने either or के केस में देखा कि either or parallel units को हमेशा introduce करेगा. Similarly, both and will also introduce parallel units. And that's why the correction will be I admire paintings or the paintings of both M.F. Hussain and Padamsee. So now paintings is something which is introducing M.F. Hussain and Padamsee. It is equally applicable to M.F. Hussain and Padamsee. So that's why we will shift paintings before. So I admire the paintings of both M.F. Hussain and of Padamsee or just Padamsee. You can drop the off if you want. So I admire the paintings of both M.F. Hussain and Padamsee. So again, both is now and are introducing equal units, M.F. Hussain and Padamsee. So with either or and both and both should introduce parallel or equal units. Question 25. Radha looks like she is a heroine in trouble. Radha looks like she is a heroine in trouble. Now the word like can be used as a verb or preposition but not as a conjunction. Basically, it can't be used to join two things. It can be used like a verb. It can be used like a preposition. To like someone is a verb. Preposition also you can use something like that. But again, you cannot use it as a conjunction. You cannot use it to join two different parts of two different sentences, two different words. And that's why we will say Radha looks like a heroine in trouble, or looks as if she is a heroine in trouble. So either we will keep like and we will remove she here and we'll just say Radha looks like a heroine in trouble. So she is will be removed. So basically we are keeping the sentence same. We are not actually dividing it into two parts. So like will not act as a conjunction. So we can say Radha looks like a heroine in trouble. That's one way of solving it. Another way of solving it is that we completely take out like from the equation and we say Radha looks as if she is a heroine in trouble. So either you retain like and remove she is, or you remove like and replace it with as if. Okay, so these are the two ways you can go about solving this question. Moving to question 27. As we all know very well that Mr. Raman works very hard. As we all know very well that Mr. Raman works very hard. Now, we should use either as well as or that. So both cannot be used, right? So you can either use as well as or as we, whatever, or you can use that, but you can't use both. So there are two ways of solving this question. One will be as we all know very well, Mr. Raman works very hard. That's one way. Or you can say, we all know very well that Mr. Raman works very hard. So either you will retain the as. This is called the as well as clause. That's why we're saying as well as hoga, yeah, that hoga. So either we will keep as and remove that, or we will remove as and keep that, right? So as we all know very well, Mr. Raman works very hard. One way. We all know very well that Mr. Raman works very hard is the second way. There are two ways of solving this question. Okay. Moving to question 29. Once you pass the exam, I'll buy you a new dress. Once you pass the exam, I'll buy you a new dress. Seems okay. But the problem here is that once suggests that something is finished or completed. And as we know from our previous discussions, that if something is finished or completed, the perfect tense should be used. And that's why the correction will be once you have passed the exam. So basically, I have written the contraction of you have here, you apostrophe VE, but if you elongate it, or if you take the long form, then it will be once you have passed the exam. So once you have passed the exam, I'll buy you a new dress. So since once here actually suggests completion, we have to use the perfect tense, and that's why once you have passed the exam, I'll buy you a new dress. Okay, all right. Moving to question 31. The people of the village had no idea of that he had a criminal background. The people of the village had no idea of that he had a criminal background. So the sentence sounds a little clunky. That's because prepositions are not used directly before that. Use हो सकते हैं that के साथ, but not directly before that. And that's why the correction can be two ways again. So it can either be the people of the village had no idea that he had a criminal background. That's one way. The second way is the people of the village had no idea of his criminal background. See, if you notice in both cases, or the preposition of is not used directly before that. In one case, it is actually used without that, and in the second case जहाँ पे that use हो रहा है, it is used much before that. So कभी भी हम preposition को directly that के पहले use नहीं करेंगे. There are two ways. One, if we retain that, the sentence will become the people of the village had no idea that he had a criminal background. ये तब होगा जब हम that को retain कर रहे हैं. और अगर हम that को हटा दें, the people of the village had no idea of his criminal background. So there are two ways again of solving question 31. I hope this is understood. Okay, moving to question 33. Wherever you will go in this world, you will definitely find people of this nature. So you will again is a contraction of you will. So wherever you will go in this world, you will definitely find people of this nature. Now the error is wherever takes a simple present tense instead of simple future. तो जब भी हम wherever use करेंगे, हम simple present tense use करेंगे, not simple future tense. And that's why the correction is wherever you go in this world. So basically we will just remove will. So wherever you go in this world, you'll definitely find people of this nature. So just omit will from the statement, and that is your correction. Okay, moving to question 35. You haven't given Ram anything to eat since he has arrived. You have not, or you haven't given Ram anything to eat since he has arrived. So when we're dealing with the past or present tense, the verb in a time clause, when we're talking about time, right? So because we know we're talking about time since we've used the word since. As we know from our previous discussion, since is used to talk about time, right? Then the verb has the same tense that it would have in a simple sentence. तो अगर हम simple sentence में जो tense रखेंगे, then that will be the tense the verb follows, and that's why the correction will be you haven't given Ram anything to eat since he arrived. So we will keep this simple. We will not use has. We will just drop has here. So you haven't given Ram anything to eat since he arrived. Just omit has. Okay. Moving to question 40. Give him water else he should die. अगर पानी नहीं दोगे तो वो मर जाएगा. So give him water else he should die. Now else should be followed by would or may. या तो हम would use करेंगे या may use करेंगे after else. And that's why the correction will be give him water else he would या else he may die. Okay. Would is actually a more archaic form of the usage and may is current. So अगर हम अभी के समय में बात करेंगे so may would be a better option, but would is also grammatically correct. It's just that it's not used that much anymore. इसका usage थोड़ा कम हो गया है. The correction can be either give him water else he would die or give him water else he may die. Okay. Moving to question 43. The reason why she didn't come here was because her husband met with an accident. The reason why she didn't come here or did not come here was because her husband met with an accident. Now the word reason should not be followed by because reason already means because. Because का meaning reason में already आ रहा है. So we're not going to use the same meaning words again and again. हम redundancy नहीं चाहते हैं sentence में. So basically we'll just remove because. The correction will be the reason why she didn't come was that her husband met with an accident. हम that use कर लेंगे, right? Was that her husband met with an accident. We can't just remove because and not put any other word. So we'll use that as an explanation. The reason was that. So the reason why she didn't come here was that her husband met with an accident. 60, question 60. She was so helpless that she could do nothing else than weep. She was so helpless that she could do nothing else than weep. So whenever we use else, it is followed by but, right? So the correction will be she was so helpless that she could do nothing but weep, right? So nothing else but weep. She was so helpless that she could do nothing else but weep. Okay, you can sometimes you'll even hear she was so helpless that she could do nothing but weep, but nothing else is a better usage. That's why we'll go with that. She was so helpless that she could do nothing else but weep. All right, I hope this was understood. Thank you very much and all the best.